What about Nickel? A few weeks ago, we moved him down to the observation pen in the barn because we wanted to know whether or not he really was releasable. And it didn't take him more than a day to get on the wheel and start running. He climbed the logs, he went into the hollow log, he climbed up on the cat tree. He was very busy. His appetite isn't great, but does eat kibble every night, and he uses his litter box. And so after about 9 days, we decided it was time to send him out to a pre-release pen because this boy is definitely releasable. So Bill and Linda got everything ready down in the USDA pre-release. Bill made sure all of the cameras were working so we'd be able to observe him and see if he's really ready to go. Everything was cleaned up. His yard is cleaned up. The inside is cleaned up. And here he comes. He's about to be left off for his last step before freedom. Let's see how he does down there. Of course, I had to go down there, make sure everything was set up right, and leave a blanket so he wasn't cold. He was totally unimpressed with my presence. He hid behind the wheel and just watched what I was doing. I came up to the house to watch on the cameras to see what he'd do. And within half an hour of us leaving, he was out and he was exploring. Of course, he went right for the wheel because he just loves to run on that wheel. I was checking to see did he have any mobility issues. That's always a big concern. But clearly he did not. We watched him climb up that ladder time and time again. Sometimes he would actually go across. We found him in the nesting box. He would just about run down the ladder. So his mobility is perfectly fine. And every night, just as before, he would run on that wheel. He even started sleeping in the nesting box, which is a real plus. He went outside to explore. It seemed to me like he really wanted to go. He'd go to the end of the gate and look, like, I want to come out. Oh, yeah? Well, look who's out there. It's Mr. Monster Raccoon. That's the biggest raccoon I've ever met. Look at, he's watching. That's one of the good things about putting them outside is they get to find out that they're not the only creatures out in the forest. Nickel was doing all the things that he should be doing, showing us that he was ready to go out. As a matter of fact, the last couple of days, he really was looking for an escape route. And then he showed me the final skill. He knew how to gather nesting materials in his nest, and there he goes. It must have been cool that night, but he was able to bring in enough straw to keep himself warm. Let me out! Let me out! I can almost hear him saying that. And so that night at dusk, we opened the cage doors and we said, okay, Nickel, you can go. You know what? We never even saw him leave. It must have been very fast. But that night he did come back and he looked in the food station and we wondered, was he still there? So Bill went down the next morning to find out.
Let's see if Nickel stayed home last night. In the lobby here? No. Around the edges? No. And oops. What do we got here? Oh, he's not in the logs. Not in the teepee. I'll bet he's home in the box where he sleeps. Okay. Is he here? Not in his cozy little bed. And he's not in a nesting box. But I'll bet he's in here. Let's see. No, he's not in his box. He just left his empty hole. He's not in the hammock. Oh, he's not home. He's gone away.
Well, it's true. That first night, Nickel took advantage of his freedom. We've seen him occasionally. He's around. But that cute little boy that came to us, over 4 months ago, with his little frost-bitten ears and his scared little face, he grew into a beautiful, independent male who had all the survival skills he needed. And off he goes on his adventure. Have a great life, Nico. We hope we see you around.